Hey everybody, this is Rick. I wanted to talk to you about something. A few weeks ago I did the 23andMe test to find out about your DNA and your relatives. And, it told me pretty much what I knew. European ancestry. I mean, just look at me, right? But my wife did the DNA test of her dad and brother a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and the results and everything were pretty cool. My wife had 1% Congo in her, which is interesting, right? But on mine it said, my wife printed it all up. It's on my phone, but it said, mostly English and Irish, and then a few touches of French and Spanish in there, Scandinavian, Eastern European, and of course they put in there some of that prehistoric DNA, right? You have 0.5% of that, but if you're wondering, I decided to do this outside with all the morning traffic, I guess, in the backyard, but it's a nice rainy day. We got a bunch of rain, and it's supposed to be in the 80s in another week or so. It's supposed to be hot, but it's we had the air off. But what I found out about 23andMe is I found some relatives after I did my 23andMe test. I was born in the early 60s. My mom was about 18 or 19. She worked at Steak and Shake and met this guy. And, after a while, got pregnant with me. And she's from a farm family. My uncles and aunts were raised on a farm, my grandparents. So you can imagine how that went over in the early 60s. Unwed pregnant woman, right? Well, my grandparents and her raised me till I was about 4 or 5. She met another man and married him, my stepdad, and they had one son together, my half brother. And of course they divorced in 1980, I grew up in a small town, and when they divorced I moved to a big city and all the hijinks and trouble that happens with that. But at any rate, my whole life, and I'll be 60 this year, I've never met my father or the sperm donor. So found out, he's there, and everything my mom said, his name, everything's the same, true. But also I found out he had been with a lot of other women, and he's been irresponsible his whole life. He didn't take care of anybody. So it's probably a good thing I never met him. It's probably a good thing my mom didn't marry him, But, you always wonder, like for me, she had me a week after Kennedy was assassinated, and this guy drove her to Texas, and I always thought, wow, maybe this sperm donor father of mine had something to do with the assassination, and it wasn't. It was just, that's where his family was, and he had 2 other girls, and just a train wreck of a man, right? And I guess he's still alive. Anyway, one of the relation of that family contacted me on the 23andMe app, talked a few times, and I told her my story, and that's the last I heard of it. My wife said it could be hard for the person to process, him or her to process, what he did. He took my pregnant mom to Texas and left her. And after a week, my mom was in a hotel, and she called her sister, my aunt. And my aunt and uncle, a married couple, went down and got her and brought me back, and brought my mom back, and she had me at home, in the city. But the person I was talking to, quit communicating, which kind of sucks because I have no pictures of this guy. I don't know what he looks like. But I guess what I'm trying to say is my family is here. I don't know these people. We have the same DNA, and that's a list of family. I mean, there's probably 100 of them, all scattered around, cousins and nephews and nieces, I don't know any of these people, but we all have the same DNA. But my family's here, I had one wife, and she passed away about 14 years ago from lupus, and I was lucky enough a few years later to find a beautiful woman married, Got her kids and my kids, and most of my family's gone, dead and gone, but we got our neighborhood and our everything. I'm pretty happy with my family. But it was you know, it did kind of suck, you know. I finally meet some of his family, and they quit talking, which honestly is no loss. I'm 59, so, you know, the guy had 59 years to get a hold of me, and he didn't. And it takes a toll on us as guys, you know. We don't have a father because my parents divorced, and I grew up in the city. I worked, you know, I've worked my whole life, and the older guys showed me the ropes on everything, you know, how to be able with women, how to drink, how to do drugs, how to smoke pot, how to smoke cigarettes, what was cool music, what was cool mood, you know. So if the father's not around, these older men will teach him what to do, you know. And a lot of stuff they taught me in the 80s wasn't good. I mean, some of it helped me, you know, to deal with other people, situations, but, you know, I wasn't taught like a father would. And that brings me to one other point. I was watching, I watch Rogan and other stuff on YouTube, you know, skipping around, and I saw a video. They were talking about Sam Kinison. He's that comedian. He passed away in, I think, 92. He had a car wreck on his way to Vegas, died at the height of his career. But the thing that's eerie is his father was a pastor, and he grew up with his brothers. They became pastors too. I guess he moved to East Peoria, Illinois. Grew up there. And he became a pastor. He was a Pentecostal pastor for 5 years. And him and his wife got divorced, and that's when he left the ministry and turned to comedy. And of course, he had that career that he did, I don't know, maybe 10 years or longer, but you know, he was the screaming comedian. He had the beret on his head. He's a big man, wore a big coat, always screaming, you know, raunchy, dirty comedy. Like right now, I wouldn't listen to this stuff, you know. It's I've kind of way grown out of that 30 years ago, you know, that raunchiness. But he died, and it said he was hit head on by a pickup truck, and you know, he was conscious after the accident, sat on the side of the road, talked for a few minutes, and he died. He had internal injuries. But he talked about, he said, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. And he looked up at the sky, and he said, why? And then people said, oh, okay. He said, he said, okay. And then he passed out and died. He had a lot of internal injuries, a torn aorta. He's going to die anyway. It's eerie. It's really eerie because I believe in a creator. I believe in God. And I think when he gives you a mission, like to be a preacher or something, and you rebel, you know, it kind of calls you out on it. It's just eerie. Which I'm trying to make a full circle here. It's life choices, you know, what we do for life. I'm on the other end now. You know, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I quit drinking years ago. That was my problem, drinking. It's a Friday night drinker, responsible the whole week except Friday night, you know, and it gets you, it bites you. But I think these choices we make in life are important, you know. Right now, I know I'm in the twilight of my life, you know. I mean, I'm not going to get any younger, I'm not going to get any healthier. You know, I can be healthy and stuff, but I've had surgeries. I'm going to have more surgeries. I'm on medication. But we're here until we're not, right? But yeah, the 23andMe test was pretty cool. You know, I kind of knew I came from Europe, right? I mean, I knew I didn't come from the Middle East or Asia, you know, or South America. You know, I don't know anything about my ancestors, and probably down the road nobody will know anything about old Rick, you know, Uncle Rick, Grandpa Rick, whatever. We live our lives and we're gone. I truly believe, you know, like a lot of Christians, this is the matrix. It's not real. It's real because it's made for us, but it's not real. The real stuff's when we leave this world. That's what I believe. But I do believe these decisions we make here are important. You know, everyday decisions, you know. And I just hope you guys look at it too, and your lives matter. We're all important, you know. We're all unique. And I think we all have our own soul inside us and everything. But it's unfortunate I can't, you know, communicate with my dad's family and everything, but it'd be different if I was 30, but being almost 60, I don't care. You know, I've got my kids. I see my kids are grown, and I see Crystal's kids, and I have Crystal, and our animals, you know. Animals are great companions. But I just wanted to tell you, If you think about taking the test, that's cool. Hey, check it out. Just have a little caution when you try and contact these family members, because I think they had no idea I was out there. They had no idea to get my mom pregnant and stuff. My mom had a hard life. 2 men left her. She had a hard life. She never remarried, and it's hard on these women. So that's all I got to say. You guys, your job isn't to go out and like a farmer spread your seed. I think your job is to get with one good woman who will make you a better man and share your life with them. There's a closeness and intimacy that comes with that you just don't get from one-night stands. You get it from someone that you've seen the best and worst of over years, and that's my thoughts. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. I answer every comment. Working on this train set. It's been rainy. I've been taking it easy. I have physical problems and arthritis in my back and hands. I gotta see the doctor next week because my hands have been going numb on me. I think it's that stupid, that surgery you get like when you work at a factory and so forth. I've done blue collar work my whole life, truck driving, factory work. I was a chef, cook, all this stuff, but it takes a toll on our bodies, We're not young anymore. Hey, take care of yourself, guys, and thanks for watching.